Hello and welcome to our first ResDiary live guide. Back after a long few months. A little bit different today as we're coming to you live from our kitchens, spare bedrooms and living rooms, but very happy to be here. I'm Lawrence, Senior Sales Consultant at ResDiary, and today I'm joined by Dominic Child, Vice President of Sales at Bizzon, and Ross Beattie, who is ResDiary's very own EPOS and Bizzon specialist. We'll be discussing our integration with Bizzon and how their technology, along with ResDiary, can help you succeed in a global pandemic. First of all, Dominic, for those watching who might not be familiar with Bizzon, can you give us a little bit of an introduction?
Yeah, happy to, thanks. So Bizzon is a restaurant sales platform which incorporates three key elements: order and pay, EPOS, and payments. We also have the ability to post adverts to social media and inventory and analytics.
Oh, great. Well, looking forward to jumping into a little bit of that in some more detail. Just before we do get started, as always, we'll be taking your questions live. So post them in the chat box and we'll answer them in the open Q&A at the end of the programme. Remember, if you do have any specific diary support queries, then please email support@resdiary.com or click the help icon in your diary so you can raise a ticket. You can also visit the customer hub and find a solution there. So then, Dominic, we all know about the incredible challenges facing the hospitality industry at the moment. Where do you see some opportunities for operators in this climate?
Well, there's certainly been a massive shift in the last 6 months in terms of customer behaviour when sites have been open, obviously. We've seen some operators move so lots of businesses come out the woodwork offering order and pay. There's obviously a shift to digital menus away from paper menus from a hygiene perspective primarily. But the opportunity that comes from that is massive. Lots of businesses have been implementing order and pay really quite quickly and understandably so to get a solution in place from a hygiene perspective. But the opportunity that lies beyond that that's actually really exciting is what that means for your customer data, the way your customer orders, and what you can do with that data in terms of generating repeat business, understanding which items on your menu are more popular than others, which ones are selling, and so forth. So at Bizzon, we're doing a lot of work around the data collection and looking to improve sales. And we've seen with the customers who use our solution, we've seen up to a 35% uplift in sales because customers are ordering themselves, which is a massive step change, and obviously, any increase in sales at the moment is really beneficial. I think pre-COVID, there was always the issue of will customers adopt this technology. What we know now is that we've got 90% of customers who in some sites who are using this technology and they really like it. So that's the opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. Taking advantage of those opportunities like digital menus and order and pay, as you mentioned, for a lot of operators, that's going to mean taking on board new technology. So what specific features does Bizzon have to help realize these opportunities?
Well, as with any technology in restaurants, one of the key benefits is consolidating systems, so you don't have hundreds of different providers that you need to manage that relationship across your restaurant. So one of the unique features of Bizzon is that we would effectively replace order and pay functionality and EPOS functionality and payment functionality. We can also replace inventory functionality and consolidate that all into one provider. Then when you add the integration with something like ResDiary, both the customer journey and the employee journey becomes that much more simpler.
Great. And so you mentioned ResDiary there. So Ross, tell us a bit more about ResDiary. In general, I speak to customers every day about the advantages of online bookings and a table management system. But at this time where efficiency, staying compliant, and maximizing revenue is key, what role can ResDiary play here?
Morning, guys. So yeah, of course, the discussion just now is about making things simple, operationally, and when your guests are in the venue, giving them the best experience. So, ResDiary can help with securing card details, guest data for track and trace, along with flexible booking rules and table layouts to adapt to, well, let's face our ever-changing government restrictions. Going to card details and prepayments has been an ongoing discussion over the years, and I guess in these times of reduced capacities, minimizing no-shows and maximizing covers is really more relevant than it ever has been. Touching on Dom's point, with regards to diversifying sales, things like voucher sales, the ResDiary vouchers module is free of charge till the end of 2020.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that point you made about card details is really crucial because no-shows have always been a problem, and there seems especially there's still a problem now. And like you said, with reduced capacity, I think that's something that a lot of people need to start taking advantage of. So great that they can do that with ResDiary. I guess taking a step back then to the start of the year when everything started to change, I saw a lot of people having to currently, adapt their current setup or indeed, as we mentioned, start to use new technology, new systems, which is a stressful time given everything that's going on and that you can then end up with many different systems and different technologies all over the place. Dominic, you mentioned a little bit earlier about simplifying your technology. How important is that? And can it actually be cost effective for operators to do that?
Well, so it's important from a simplicity point of view, also from a supplier point of view. But we saw it even before COVID, where for probably the last 3 or 4 years, businesses have been moving to multiple sales channels. So delivery has become commonplace when 5 years ago it was questions: do I do delivery or not? Click and collect has obviously become really, really popular. It's been the lifeblood, lots of businesses the last 6 months, but lots of businesses were doing it before then. And with each of these additional sales channels, businesses have been naturally kind of adding new technology to support that new sales channel. What Bizzon does is provide a single platform which supports all those sales channels. So then you have one platform, and it's essentially online ordering. It's digital web ordering. So however the customer accesses that menu and places the order, whether that's sat at a table with their mobile phone or whether that's sat at home with a website to do click and collect, that's just a different way of accessing what the restaurant is selling. So, and retail have been doing this for years, and where it gets really clever is, if a customer goes on and looks at a particular item, puts it in their basket, but then doesn't buy it. If you did that on Amazon or in a clothes shop, probably for the next month you'd get a pop-up banner on your Google browser telling you to buy that item for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Is that technology that we can help support restaurants with, and directly target customers with their products. So it's a direct sales channel for repeat business, as well as being the method for placing orders in the restaurant.
Absolutely, and I think that of data from Bizzon then, and I think we all know that data is more important now than ever. In fact, in my opinion, that's one of the best features about ResDiary is that owning all your customer data and the potential that then opens up. Ross, can I ask you, what is the benefit of having the data shared between Bizzon and ResDiary with the integration there?
Yeah, sure. So I guess, there's probably 2 points to look at with the data here. With a two-way integration. The first one would be, on the staff side, on the team side, your staff can have all the information with regards to booking, on one system, so they can focus on service and really tailor that experience for the guests. In reverse, when you can send things like ordering history and customer spend back to ResDiary, from a marketing perspective, it's really powerful. You can drive repeat business, based on guests spend well in your venue, and really build customer loyalty. Again, in these times, that's a really vital thing.
And just on that, so marketing with ResDiary, then do you need to send out emails to everyone, or can you use that data, like you say, to be a bit more targeted in terms of just contacting your high spenders or people that booked via a certain date? Is that possible?
Yeah, of course. You can filter your marketing or your lists, by date of visit, by spend per visit, and send, rewards, or be it discounts or just reminders, based on that and those different parameters, which can be very helpful.
Great. Well, on the point about marketing, I, for one, tend to use Instagram quite a lot to do a little bit of research on a venue before deciding if I want to book there. And I think more and more of our customers are now seeing Instagram as a popular channel for bookings. Dominic, I know we were speaking earlier and you told me that Bizzon has actually a pretty amazing feature involving Instagram. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure, yeah. Just before I do, I think the really exciting part of Bizzon roadmap is that we actually see a future where restaurants don't need EPOS. And that's quite groundbreaking, but when you think about the method of placing orders, it quickly could become a reality where if the customer has their own mobile phone and that's their method of placing the order, and the printer in the kitchen is Wi-Fi, it's very simple to place orders from the customer directly to the kitchen. The way it works, simply put, is that Bizzon the restaurant would provide a QR code for the customer to scan with their phone. As soon as they've scanned that QR code, we know the table, we know the person. We can embed a cookie in their phone, so they place their orders. We know their ordering history. That sends the order to the kitchen. But then also, let's say they're ordering a curry on a Tuesday night. We know that the next Tuesday we could put an advert Tuesday morning saying, you had a curry last night, come and have last week, come and have another curry. And that could be a direct advert in their Instagram account or their Facebook account. So it's directly messaging your customers. So it's this can replace loyalty programs. It's a direct sales method. It's straight to your customer base to generate repeat business. Also, there's the ability, if a customer is sat in your restaurant and they say, I'm at #table10, that could automatically generate a discount. So the people in store are automatically advertising your restaurant to their followers, and they can see where you are and the experience you're having. And then that discount automatically appears literally the next second on the total of the items that they've ordered. So it's almost like a two-way dialogue that the restaurant is having with the customer, which improves customer interaction and customer experience, when probably historically some restaurants have been worried about technology taking away the human touch. Actually, this is technology really enabling a greater guest experience.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's great, having that communication with the customer. I also think it creates a nice cycle. So you have your customers posting content on Instagram, which is then consumed by potential new customers who then maybe view the venue's Instagram page. And with ResDiary, if they're able to book in through Instagram as well, it's quite a nice cycle. So that's great. And for anyone watching, don't forget we're doing a live Q&A session at the end of this. So please add your COVID or Bizzon related questions in the chat box and we will answer them very shortly. One thing we need to talk about is ordering and paying at table. So for many, this is a really exciting, new and useful tool. However, I'm sure I'm not alone in coming across some overcomplicated, frustrating order and pay systems since venues reopened earlier in the year. Does Bizzon have an order and pay table system?
It does, yeah, and I share. I've seen some frustrating examples where it's just done really badly. I think that the starting point of order and pay and any technology is that it's got to improve the customer experience. And I've experienced examples where I've gone into a restaurant, I've had to download an app which has taken over 5 minutes to download. Then you have to put in your bank details. You have to have a username, a password that you always forget, and you have to pay every single time you're placing an order. Which, when the alternative is to have a chat with a waiter or a waitress, and they open a tab, is clearly worse. So there's lots of different examples. We know of about kind of 15 to 20 order and pay solutions, which obviously they require integration with EPOS. Any integration is obviously a point of failure. But most of those, I think 25% of those use apps, 75% use QR codes, and QR codes are generally the quickest way of opening up a menu. It's super quick. You just open your camera, scan the QR code, and the menu's there in front of the customer. What's key is obviously taking that journey, through the kind of customer experience, so that they can order and pay. And then what that does is take, from a staffing perspective, you're freeing up staff from doing those transactional jobs of taking orders and taking payments, particularly the latter one of taking payment, which has always been the bugbear of customers and has never been fixed. I think on average it's about 12 minutes to order and pay before you go. Bizzon takes care of that because it's in the customer's hands. Whenever they want to pay, they can just get their phone, they can use Apple Pay or Google Pay, and they've paid. That goes back to the EPOS platform and shows that table's been paid and been cleared, and then in turn that shows that table is then free in ResDiary.
Fantastic. And Ross, could you maybe show us what this looks like for some of our viewers?
Sure, let's take a look now. So yeah, as Dom says, it works via QR code, and I guess there's two kind of starting points. You can either have a fixed QR code on each table, or we can print a QR code off or show the guest a QR code on our tablet. So if we open a new table, in this case, we're going to show them the QR code, and we'll sit the guest down, open up the order, and we will then generate the QR code here. So we can print it off a receipt printer, or the guest can scan that. So in this case, we'll scan it on our phones, and the menu opens straight up. Obviously, we get a customizable message, based on what you want to say, and the menu will display along with your open hours and things. It'll also pull through things like deals you have on as well. So if I just jump back here, I'm away doing my job, the EPOS will ping and the table within your order goes yellow, and you'll see bottom leftish the QR code icon with a 1 next to it. So we'll open up the order, and we can choose to reject or accept that order. As we accept it, it will print to our bar or kitchen display, and the guest will be notified the order has been accepted by showing it as confirmed. Like I said, if you've got any deals on, 2 for 1 in cocktails, that'll be automatically applied to the cart, taking away, any manual work for the staff. Let's say, the customer has some questions in the menu, or for whatever reason doesn't want to order their food via the pay table app. Unlike a lot of systems, as it is an all-in-one platform, the staff can take over the order. They can edit things, they can add things, they can cash the table off. So in this case, we'll add on some main courses on the POS itself. As we save that, again, it'll print to your bar and our kitchen, and the guest will see in real time that's been added to their order. So everyone's in the loop, everyone knows what's going on. Come at the end of the meal, obviously, as Dom said, the guests can pay on their phone with Apple or Google Pay, but likewise, we can close the order and cash it off from the EPOS itself. Let's say, someone wants to pay with cash, which I guess is a no in these strange times. So we'll close the table with a cash payment, and the guest will just see very quickly that their payment's been received and the table's been closed. Thank you for your order. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah, no, that's great, Ross. That is great. And as Dominic, you said, it needs to be easy, or else your customers and your staff maybe revert back to, just ordering like in the old-fashioned way. But another really big thing for me, and I'm sure many people watching, is it needs to be easy for the venue to set up, and it needs to be easy and quick for the venue to make any changes as need be. Dominic, is that the case? Is it easy to do that?
It is, yeah. I think there's this perception, and just from history and experience, that any changes of EPOS or any technology changes are big projects. That's probably because of the solution that you've got now, and because of the project to implement that. But certainly, if your EPOS is more than 5 years old, it's going to be based on old technology. If you think about how long you've had a smartphone and the changes that's made to your life and all the things you do on it. So, from your maps, your torches, your music, everything is on the phone. And customers use that day to day at home for banking, all these things. The EPOS world has moved on as well, which means that implementation is really easy. It's agile. But also what we've done with some customers is we're also freeing up their staff from being either stuck behind a bar or tied to a till, and waiters are now walking around with their mobile phones, and that becomes their point of taking orders, as well as tablets. So it's really easy. I mean, in terms of a typical implementation, it would be up and running within a week, and we can do it remotely.
Brilliant. So let's look ahead then. A post-COVID, something I'm sure that we're all very much looking forward to. But a lot of operators might be thinking it's great having this tech now, but how does that fit into the future? So Dominic, it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on this. Do these tools have a place in that future?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the one thing that has been proven is that customers really like and really engage with the ability to order on themselves. There's always been a reticence within the hospitality industry, certainly in my kind of 20 years in the industry, of being slightly fearful because we're in hospitality. There's this feeling of, I need to be hospitable. I need staff to be all over my guests. I've experienced this from a customer point of view, where I'm sat in a pub and I'm placing my order, and the waitress is right next to me and slightly uncomfortably too close for me. So whether that's in a COVID hygienic world, you want social distancing, but even if there's a vaccine and everything goes away, customers have proven that they really like order. As long as the solution is really good and works and is an improvement on the customer journey, they will engage with it. So, like I said, it's going to be a struggle for 100% of customers to order via their mobile phone, because there's always exceptions. But as long as you've got a front of house staff to manage those exceptions, what we're seeing is that with customer adoption, and 90% of customers using this functionality now, and they spend more money with you, as an operator, the question is, can you afford not to do it? The key with this, pre-COVID, if any site was getting 5% or more sales via the mobile phone, it would have been pretty good. COVID has just accelerated it, but it's not going to go away. And the upsides are massive. Again, talking about the ability to target and have direct communication with your customers after they've left your venue, generating repeat business, understanding their order history, understanding how they've engaged with your menu, what they put in their basket, what they finally bought or what they didn't buy, is amazing insights that you can get with a digital menu that you can't get when people just look at a paper menu. So operators are going to understand those benefits and are understanding those benefits now. Obviously, the early adopters are getting the benefits and reaping the rewards.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's a benefit to customers and it's maximizing revenue for venues, then I certainly don't see it going anywhere. Just a reminder that we're taking your questions for a live Q&A. So any Bizzon related questions, drop them in the chat box and I will put it to our experts. Ross, Dominic, it's great having you both on this discussion, not just talking about ResDiary, but with one of our partners talking about Bizzon. It's clear that both have incredibly useful features. So let's talk a bit more about the integration then. Ross, what are the benefits in the integration between ResDiary and Bizzon?
Well, I think, like we said earlier, rather than having your systems all working independently, pull things together, give your staff the time to devote to the customers and making that experience better for them. The integration with ResDiary and Bizzon systems work together seamlessly in real time. Key booking information will be shown on the POS for all staff, and in reverse, spend and ordering history is fed back to ResDiary, which I say is really good for marketing. Let's look at a quick demo just now, if you want.
Yeah, I think that'd be great to see. A lot of people who haven't used an integration might struggle to think what that looks like. So if you can show us, that would be brilliant.
Cool. So if you see my screen, we'll start on ResDiary. You can see at a glance we've got a couple of tables in action. We've got a walk-in in table 1 that's on main courses, a walk-in of 2 in table 5 that's got the bill. We've got a late booking and 2 upcoming bookings and 1 closed booking. The first thing you might see is that the spend pulls through here, so you can see at a glance what the takings are for that day. And for customers coming in that are repeat visitors, we can click onto their profile and look at their ordering history. So this person's been in 49 times this venue, big fan obviously. So we know him really well. But if we forget what wine he likes or what dish he likes, we can look through this and we can really tailor service based on that and make the guest feel loved and welcome in the venue. And I guess it's going back to the live statuses here. Let's say you've got a queue out the door on a busy Friday or Saturday night. You as the restaurant host can see, okay, well, table 1 has got their main courses, table 5's got the bill, and hopefully use that to manage queues better, turn tables quicker, and ultimately generate more revenue for the business. So we'll look at it now on Bizzon and see how that looks on that side of things. So your bookings will all pull through to this screen here. We'll obviously see the booking time, the party size, the table assigned by ResDiary, the VIP status. Over here, we'll get some more details of the booking reference, the duration assigned to the table. We'll also get things like booking and customer comments pulling through as well. So, important information for that booking won't be missed by anyone. We'll see things like, birthdays, anniversaries pull through, along with booking promotions too. I guess afternoon tea is a relevant one. It just cuts down on manual labor and having to discuss things between, front of house and management. As we open the bookings up, this one here, for example, we'll just be asked to confirm, obviously, details, the table number of covers, etc. As we save that, that'll feed back to ResDiary's table being in action, and we can start creating the order for the customer. So we'll put in some items here. We'll go for a full 3-course meal, shall we? And that's applied our set menu available as well. So any deals or set menus you have got on, the staff enter them as normal, and that's applied for the customer automatically. As we send the check, it'll print to our bar and kitchen, and we go back to ResDiary and we'll see that booking has been sat and the tables in action. Just here. So yeah, as we run the meal through the phases on Bizzon, obviously we see in real time what stage they're at, and come the end of the visit, the ordering history and spend is sent back. So that's the integration in a nutshell, really.
Great, thank you for showing us that, because I think that's a big advantage for a lot of operators, that integration, and that they don't need to work from two different systems. If they're opening that check on Bizzon, then it's going to be reflected in ResDiary and vice versa. So it doesn't have staff needing to jump onto two different systems. However, you also mentioned data there and the capture of that. What can you then do with this information to say, you know, improve service and efficiency?
Well, I guess, you know, on one side it's front of house, you know, from waiting staff to customers, and it's knowing what that customer likes, and you know, you can upsell that bottle of wine or that particular dish. Something I didn't mention was deposits as well. So any prepayments from ResDiary are pulled through to Bizzon and are automatically applied to that bill. So less chance of manual error, and the guests know that everything is going to be as smooth as, you know, it should be. On the other side, like we said, you know, we can send customer spend back to ResDiary and then use that for marketing purposes and really build that brand and customer loyalty.
Brilliant. Just before we move to our Q&A, so just a reminder that you can drop any questions on the integration and we'll get them answered. I just wanted to say, guys, thank you. I feel like we have covered a lot today, maybe without even scratching the surface of what Bizzon can do. Is there anything else, Dom, that you would like to chat us through that might be helpful for the viewers?
I think what's really important right now is just really taking stock of and challenging your existing technology. So you know, is it fit for purpose for your business for the coming months and years, and not just in a COVID world, but you know, what are your customers really wanting, and thinking about features like that businesses have always tried to do, like loyalty. You know, what does that actually add to the value of your business? Essentially, I think, you know, in time, hospitality will and is moving to more of a retail world where you know, all it's about is selling products. So whether that's online, whether that's in the restaurant, do existing EPOS providers and order and pay solutions give you the best solution? Obviously, COVID has massively shaken up what is required, and also not being fearful of replacing those systems, because you know, the Bizzon solution is absolutely fit for a world where you have multi-sales channels and customers are in charge of and have the ability to be in charge of their own orders. That's what customers are liking, and you know, simply where they're spending more money, it's really worth a good think about that right now, to think about, when we come out the other side of this, how is my business going to be you know, cooking on gas and working with the, you know, the best solutions and maximizing sales.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Dom. We'll be back in just a moment for the live Q&A, but first let's look at some of the features in ResDiary that will help you navigate the pandemic.
As restrictions change, get an online reservation system that can adapt when needed. ResDiary's range of features lets you switch from table service to online delivery quickly, while our improved voucher system lets you grow revenue, both without the hefty commission fees of other platforms. Flexible booking rules let you adjust tables, capacity, and control online bookings easily, meaning you can respond to changes in public health advice quickly and safely. Collect customer data automatically for track and trace, while remaining GDPR compliant. And, as always, all bookings made through ResDiary are commission-free. find out how ResDiary can help you navigate the pandemic.
Okay, let's move to our live questions then. Quite a few in, so thank you for adding them. The first is from James Ray. Can you tell us more about data and reporting insight benefits, please? Is the reporting on table turns, either in ResDiary or Bizzon? Ross, perhaps you would like to pick this one up and talk a bit about Bizzon and the integration with ResDiary in table turns.
Yeah, sure. So I guess reporting in table turns is more of a ResDiary feature, so that can be done. With regards to Bizzon, obviously we are reporting back on our sales for that period, number of covers over any period. So yeah, hopefully that gives an answer to that question.
Yeah, definitely. I think being able to look at how long your guests are spending at a table, that information pulling from Bizzon and being able to see that in ResDiary and maybe adjust your table durations for different services, then you're going to maximize your efficiency. So yeah, thank you, Ross. A question here from Optimization Services, or on Optimization Services. How does it support inventory management? So how does it support inventory management? Ross, would you like to pick that one up?
Yeah, I'm sure Dom can pipe in as well. So Bizzon has got a full inventory solution. You know, our purchasables, what we buy from our suppliers, can be attached to our sellables, i.e. the menu items. And yeah, if we sell, you know, a steak and chips, that will deduct one steak and X number of grams of potatoes from your inventory. And we can input all of our suppliers, all of our invoices and orders into Bizzon, and we can get low stock alerts. We can do stock takes. So yeah, I think inventory is covered really nicely.
Yeah, I'll just add to that it's a fully functioning inventory solution that sits, you know, as an integral part of the EPOS solution.
Great, thank you. A very good question here from Edwin. So Edwin says that they are having connectivity problems with their current till system. So Dominic, I guess, how much does Bizzon rely on an internet connection?
Well, it obviously does rely on it, but it doesn't need, it doesn't need super fast broadband. It can work off, just standard broadband. So there's, we've got, hundreds of customers, and there's no extra requirement for any kind of super fast broadband.
Great. Edwin's also asking about an iPad app, and is there an iPad app? So I'll quickly say that from ResDiary's point of view, we have an iPad app called ResDiary Plus, which is a great in-service tool for managing all the bookings off. So Dominic, what about for Bizzon then? How do you run Bizzon?
Yeah, so we work on Android. So it's an Android app which you would download to any Android tablet or phone.
Great. Now, Edwin has asked another question. This is actually a very good one. How easy is it to move from Bizzon from another system? So somebody that's using an existing EPOS just now, how easy is it for them to move over?
Like we said in the main body, it is really easy. Without knowing what your legacy product is, that's almost irrelevant. It's just about, in terms of hardware, we can provide it next day delivery. Like I said, because we're using Android based phones and tablets, you can pretty much get them anywhere in the world. We send them out next day delivery. Once they're on site, we can configure your app remotely. Setup is within the week.
That's good. I'm sure that's reassuring for people that maybe need to get up and running very quickly or don't want to be left without a system. So that's great. Thank you, Dominic. Okay, question here from Vita. Can Bizzon work independently though? For example, being able to open a table with 0 covers and move tables, etc. So Ross, maybe you can touch on this one. We've talked about the integration with ResDiary, but if somebody wants to use Bizzon independently, is that possible?
Yeah, of course, of course. So obviously we looked at the integration to ResDiary and the benefits that can bring, but it's not a prerequisite. It can be used standalone. I think you mentioned opening a table with zero covers. Absolutely not a problem. That works. If you're maybe getting at something with regards to over the bar transactions, you don't want to impact ResDiary, yeah, that could be done as well. We can simply ring up an order and cash it off without saving that as a table, essentially. So hopefully that's what you were getting at there, and that answered the question.
Yeah, I think so. So although there's definitely benefits of having the integration, it's good to know that people can use ResDiary and Bizzon separately if they wish. And I'm sure, Ross, that they could add the integration on at any point in the future if they wanted to.
Yeah, of course, it can be switched on. It takes, a matter of minutes. We just hook up some code on either side, and the integration is what we can have your bookings showing on Bizzon, in a matter of minutes when the time comes.
That's good. I'm sure operators appreciate that flexibility. A second question from Vita here is, apart from the inventory, is it possible to have a countdown on Bizzon in order to know when an item is not available anymore? Ross, do you want to answer that one for Vita?
Yes, inventory wise, we can have low stock alerts. So let's say on a keg of beer, we can get an email when we hit a certain level of literage of that keg of beer. So let's say it's 10 litres. We get an email to say low stock alert, and we can manage our stock levels with the system that way.
Perfect. That sounds easy enough. Okay, question from Matt Nielsen here. What level of integration would be possible with PMS systems, so property management systems? So I'll turn to you, Dominic, but just before I do, from ResDiary's point of view, we have an integration with a number of PMS systems. So that's absolutely possible to set up. Dominic, is that possible with Bizzon as well?
Yes, absolutely. One of our largest customers is our core hotels. So we've got integrations with a couple of their EPOS platforms already. But essentially, how it works is we would be the EPOS provider in one of their restaurants, and if a guest, and I guess the person asking the questions from a hotel, if the customer wants to charge the meal to a room, that's absolutely available. And they can sign off via the tablet, charge it to the room. So then the entire itemized breakdown when they come to check out will be on their hotel bill rather than on the restaurant bill.
Perfect. That sounds like a good big integration to have a few systems talking together. I think we have time for a couple more questions. So one here from Pietro. How would this work with a group of venues, particularly if the venues are all very different from one another? Dominic, could you answer that for Pietro?
Yeah, so it's very much tailored for the location. So Ross showed a table plan. The table plan can be specific to the site. Obviously, it's bespoke. You can add things like pillars and windows and big tables. So it's really quick and easy for the staff to use and understand what's going on in the site. But also things like product catalogs, what items are on sale in each location. You can have different pricings for different locations. So it's entirely configurable for the location.
Brilliant. And one last question, and Ross, I'll come to you for this one. Is it flexible enough to adapt to changes in service or venue setup? So, for example, quick changes to setup for COVID, Christmas, adding an outside area, etc.
Yeah, for sure. So, you can have multiple table plans set up in the system, so you can freely select, day to day which one you use on that particular day, be that a lovely warm sunny day, which seems a long way away on a grey November morning in Glasgow. But yeah, that can be done. If it's different capacities, yeah, it's literally a click of a button on the back end before you open up the app in the morning. You can have a different table plan or different layout based on that.
Brilliant. Well, hopefully that answered Gary's questions. So thank you very much for all your questions. That is all that we have time for today. A big thank you to everyone for joining us. If you haven't already, then please do sign up to our channel to keep up to date with all our content. If you do want to find out more about Bizzon, we'll be sending out details by email after the webinar. So Dominic and Ross, big thank you for your insight today. I'm sure that is much appreciated. Please do remember, if you do need any support with your diary, you can raise a ticket by clicking the help icon in the diary, emailing support@resdiary.com, or by visiting our customer hub. Once again, thank you very much for joining and have a great day.